Welcome back, guys. Rainer here. Let's jump right into Assassins. Assassins are easily the hardest class of gods to play in Smite, in the fact that they have very low health and can do an enormous amount of damage. So let's grab the free guy, Thor, and get right into this. All right, guys, let's talk about Assassins. Assassins are probably the most varied class of gods in Smite. They have such a wide range of what they do, but it all boils down to one solid thing, and it's they do a very high amount of damage. Thor here is no exception. I'm going to walk over here and hit Ra, and just look how much damage I do to Ra. Just, he can't stand here and take this kind of punishment for very long. Now, you saw that I only got hit by a little bit, and half my health is gone. I mean, the damage that assassins can do is very deadly, followed only by the amount of damage that they can take is exceptionally deadly to them. That's why, in this scenario, I'm playing in the solo lane joust mode, and it's very, this is actually one of the tougher things you can do. Trying to actually lane with an assassin is exceptionally hard. Assassins typically fill the jungle role of Smite and have to stay primarily rooted firmly in the jungle. Now, as far as like a wide variety of skills on the assassins, they run the gambit. They've got pets, they've got stuns, they've got ranged attacks, they've got cripples, they've got slows. They run the entire gambit. They've got super nuke ultras that just do a massive chunk of damage right away. Thor's no different. He's got a stun, which I'm going to hit Ra here, and you see he's stunned by that. He's got his ranged poke with his hammer. It goes out, and then it comes back. Now, the trick with it when it's coming back is that it does bonus damage. So when you do the bonus damage to enemies, on the return, it becomes a very careful delivery of your attack. You've got to be much more concerned with where you throw that and if you want to get the bonus damage or not. You saw how much damage that did to Ra on the return. That's huge. It's a great initiate. Most assassins have great initiating abilities, and they just run a very wide range of what they do. The best comparison I can give you is probably one of the best junglers in the game is Arachne. Her one ability lets her put down pets. There are these little like egg pods that will spawn enemies, or well, I shouldn't say enemies, minions, and do a massive amount of damage to enemy gods. So you know when I said that assassins run the entire gambit, so I've told you about his one where he throws his hammer. Well, Thor's one's a little different as well in the fact that when you throw it, if you activate your one again mid-throw, Thor will teleport to where the hammer is, allowing you to chase down an opponent very effectively. See, in this here, I'm showing you probably one of the hardest features of playing a jungler, and that's playing in a straight-up fight. These gods, they are not meant to just stand around and fight. They are meant to show up and just basically explode all over the enemies. Just do as much damage as possible as quickly as possible. So one of the places that the assassin really shines is their ability to strike from the shadows. And Thor's no different. I'm just going to drop right down on Ra here and do a massive amount of damage to him just because he didn't know I was going to be there. That's the basic premise that you go with all assassins, and it's also one of the reasons that they're the most hated classes to see when you're playing the game. is because you never know when they're going to strike. And when they strike, they usually strike with lethal results. So if you come up against an assassin and you walk away from that experience, you can just consider that a win. That's a W in the book any day. Assassins are meant to show up and just burst you down to nothing before you really have a chance to react. So that brings us down to, when should I pick to play an assassin? I would say that assassins are the most advanced class in Smite. And you should not choose to play one lightly. You should be very familiar with the game at that point. I'm not saying don't experiment. Don't jump in to see if you can play as an assassin. Thor is a very good jumping off point for the assassins because he can play fairly tanky compared to some of the other ones. But if you're going to play in a conquest mode, it's important to pick an appropriate role to fit your assassin. Do not play solo lane. Do not play mid lane. I've seen some fairly successful duo lane assassins in my recent plays, and they do a fine job. You just have to work it to your specific strengths. Don't find yourself in areas that you can't compete. See, typically in a straight-up fight against a mage, the mage should win 9 times out of 10 because the assassin is a very squishy class. They take very little damage to kill. I mean, I'm level 17. That's 3 levels away from maximum, and I've only got about 2,000 health. A little less than that. And with no protections, that 2,000 health will go very, very quickly. Now, where do assassins shine? Assassins shine in physical damage and auto attacks. So I'm just going to hit this raw with straight up auto attacks. Look at how much damage he's taking. I mean, that was just auto attacks that just beat him to death. Just beat him to nothing with just straight up auto attacks. Facing against a well-leveled assassin is very, very tough for a lot of classes in the game. They can straight up just nuke down tanks. It's not hard. They can do it. But due to the fact that they have very low health, you have to understand a lot of things about Smite before you should feel comfortable in that role. You've got to understand what gods you're fighting, what role those gods will be playing, and when it's appropriate to, spring the trap and attack. What you should know about assassins walking away from this is that they're very, very high damage, very low health, physical damage characters in Smite. Easily one of the most advanced classes in the entire game. Before playing as an assassin, you have to know that, 1, all of the enemy gods have ways to counter assassins. Whether it's an escape, whether anything. Escape, high damage, a stun, anything that they can do to counter you. So you really need to have a lot of experience with Smite before you should feel comfortable playing as the assassin class character. That being said, they are easily one of the highest damage characters in the game and have a very, very tough time being countered once they have a quality player at the helm. So let's jump into the next class, which is a very interesting role to play, and that is the support class. All right, guys, this time we're going to show off the support class characters. And when I say support, I really mean these are characters that don't really fit the roles that they're assigned. The basic support classes would be Aphrodite. She's a ranged magical character. It says she's a mage. She's not a mage. She's a very support-heavy character. Hel is also a very support-heavy character, as is Chang'e. Now, these three are all designated as mages. As mages, they perform pretty poorly. Hel is probably the only one that could even be classified as a mage. But what they really specialize in is their healing abilities and their abilities to just generally help the team. So we're going to jump in with Aphrodite because I feel like she's the most central to the support role. And we're jumping into an arena game that I have here against the bots because I can't really show off how a support class plays in just kind of a straight-up fist fight one-on-one. You're not going to get the same experience. So as we start the match here, the first thing you have to do is pick at least as Aphrodite, is pick a character to support. I'm going to pick Anhur. So I've created this bond here with Anhur, so whenever I get healing, Anhur gets a portion of that healing as well. So as you can see, Aphrodite doesn't really do a ton of damage. Her doves do a decent amount of poke, and my buddy here Anhur has somehow managed to survive whatever just happened. I throw my birds out, Naja takes a ton of damage and has to disengage from the fight, and Anhur gets a little bit of healing from that. So when you're playing as a support class character, you've got to know where your strengths are. So as I'm just kind of playing as a healer and just kind of keeping my team in the fight, so I want to run items that do bonuses to healing, like the Rod of Septiples here. So as I walk up into the fight, I notice that the enemy Chang'e's here. We're doing a ton of damage to her. Just kind of want to basically just keep throwing my autos because it's the right way to play, because my doves really aren't useful right now. So the key to playing support in the best way you can play it is to know where you're the most needed. Like right now, Naja needs me because we're up here in the fight. He's ahead of us. So I'm going to throw out my support onto Naja, and we're going to keep him alive against these characters that are focusing him. And just traded a kill instead of probably what would have been a Naja death. Support are a very interesting role. That a well-played support character is invaluable. So that's just going to kind of throw the support class in general. You don't really want to look for damage in the team fights. What you really want to make sure you're doing is you want to make sure you're the most effective player that you can possibly be and keep characters alive that generally wouldn't survive otherwise. Like, without my help there, that Ymir probably wouldn't have died. They generally fit the role of medic exceptionally well. See, I just stunned that Chang'e, did damage, and then probably maybe secured that kill. It's hard to make a call. If her tower wouldn't have been right there, that'd have been secured. There you go. There's a proper example. Bailed Poseidon out of a mess and helped him and secured a Naja kill. bailing Poseidon out of a mess again because he's super overextended against what is basically the entirety of the enemy team, and helping them secure kills. In a normal fight, this would be going a lot differently. My teammates would be doing a majority of the work. Whereas here with the bots, they all kind of have a predetermined AI routine that they're following. And I'm somehow getting these kills. But generally, I feel like you guys are getting the basic idea. So you walk into a fight, Chang'e's not even close to the right one to pick here, but you walk into a fight and you make sure that you're supporting someone. See, Naja's over here doing a ton of damage to me, and I can just knock him away with my 2 and just walk away. He's still right behind me, and this could end up being very bad for me. But the fact is that you don't strive on doing damage. You strive on staying alive and supporting your team through methods of healing, invincibility, just generally keeping your team alive in situations that they shouldn't survive. So there's the support class wrapped up for you guys. That's all the gods as far as class-wise goes. I hope this was at least slightly informative, and thanks for watching. This has been Rainer. Peace out.